Hi, my name is Alana. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And this is a booktube because I love to read and I love to talk about what I read. And I like to focus on one book reviews. So I like to dedicate my channel to pretty much focusing a video per book. Side note, before I jump into this particular review, I was going back through the videos that I had posted throughout this year thus far, and my Under the Radar #1 video, I have not forgotten that I want that to be a series of books. So I'm just buried up to here in books that need to be reviewed. Because again, this year I'm reading books faster than I can review them, which is a good thing. But I have not forgotten. I want to keep the Under the Radar books going because I have quite a few. So without further ado, this book review or this video will be focusing specifically on The Possessed by my girl Elif Batuman. And if you didn't know, I'm a fan of my girl Elif Batuman. So this will be a short review because there's not really too much to discuss. Just a few things here or there. This is a nonfiction account of Batuman's grad school days studying Russian literature and her travels. So she's recounting her studies, her trips abroad, the people in her life during this time, whether they're professors or ex-boyfriends, friends, roommates, people that she met when she traveled. And it is funny. And she writes in a way that is very dry and humorous and witty, much like her really autobiographical novels, The Idiot and Either Or. She discusses Russian literature, novelists, Tolstoy, Babel, Dostoevsky, and some others, and she examines how narratives are constructed and why she's so enamored with Russian literature. Again, what does that sound like? That sounds like Either Or and The Idiot. This was published before Either Or and The Idiot, and I think that if you want to get into Batuman's work, her novels, I would say this for after the fact. I think that if I had read this before her novels, maybe some of the charm would have dissipated a little bit if I knew too much about Elif Batuman. She is one of those authors for me where I find that diving into her novels and then maybe backtracking why she puts certain things in the novel or where is it coming from makes the reading experience more enjoyable in her case. The majority of the time, I do like to do a little bit of background research on an author or listen to them talking about their books before I jump in so that it allows me to pick up themes and be a lot more analytical as I'm reading because I'm kind of honed into certain things. But in this case, it's the reverse. So she, again, like I said, in this particular book, it's written in a way, let me put the book here. It's written in a way where we have about 8 chapters. I'm including the introduction as one of those chapters. That's why I said about, right? Where she's talking about grad school. And so each chapter is kind of bouncing back between like her grad school life, and then she'll focus in on an author. So grad school life and her travels, and then she'll bounce to an author. So she talks about grad school, then she goes to Babel. Then she goes back to her travels in Samarkand. Then she goes to Tolstoy. Then she goes back to the summer in Samarkand. Then she goes to a place that she visited in, I want to say Russia. I don't think it's it. I think my memory is evading me. Then she goes back to Samarkand, and then she talks about my boy Dostoevsky. So, but that format isn't at all confusing, and I found it to be kind of nice to kind of break it up between the two. And you will find, if you choose to read this if you're curious about Elif Batuman and her novels, a lot of things that are in this book she uses as plot points in her novels. Batuman here is still asking the question that she asked in her novels. She's asking what makes the novel, And can the traditional structure and content of the novel be adapted to make really the everyday mundane things in life fascinating? Can you write about everyday life in a way that is still captivating? Which I think is a trend more and more that we see with literature. Those slice of life novels are becoming more and more popular. Whereas in Either Or, she does use The Picture of Dorian Gray as a reference. And when you go back to The Picture of Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde is actually arguing the opposite. He was like, if you focus too much in on the author as a human being and their own experiences, I'm paraphrasing, are too ingrained in the novel, that's not interesting. That's not abstract. The art is abstract. The novel should be abstract. And if you read The Picture of Dorian Gray, it's abstract. the novel's a piece of work. I loved it, but it's a piece of work. She's answering this question. She's on the hunt to find this question, and she looks at Tolstoy and Dostoevsky and other Russian writers to kind of dig in and ask this question. She does even talk about the hero and how we look at heroes in novels like Don Quixote. So again, I agree with her. I think that one's life can be realistically fictionalized and it's still believable and compelling and funny. So I'm actually going to wrap this up. Like I said, this is a short book. There's not really too much to talk about, because if I were to talk about this book and everything that's in it, there don't really need themes because it's nonfiction. You see what I'm saying? In a way, you could be seen as a memoir about a particular moment in her life. Other than that, it would feel like you're listening to me read an essay, and that's boring. So I pulled out a couple of quotes here that I really enjoyed, because one quote just kind of sums up everything that she's trying to arguing here at this point. Bobble wasn't alienated by life. To the contrary, he sought it out, but he was incapable of living it otherwise than as the material for literature, which pretty much sums up The Idiot as a book, and Either Or. She also is extremely funny. Like, if you found The Idiot and Either Or to be hilarious, you're going to find this to be just as funny, because that's just, Elif Batuman has dry, witty humor, and I get on with that type of humor. So here's an example that literally made me laugh out loud. What happened? The symbolist asked. What didn't happen? It was the dinner from Dostoevsky, that's all. And if you've read Dostoevsky, especially if you've read like The Brothers Karamazov or Crime and Punishment, just the conversations and the things that kind of come up at these family gatherings or at, functions is just the drama, #the drama. So that made me laugh. And again, like I said, there's really not much else to say. I enjoyed it. I found it interesting, insightful, especially after reading The Idiot and Either Or. It added an extra layer of depth to those novels that I feel was helpful after reading those novels. I listened to this book on audio because she narrates it herself. And I enjoy hearing the author read their own words, especially if they're recounting their own life, because they know where to put certain inflections in the story because it's their words, they wrote it. I will say I gave this a 4 out of 5, and that is because there is one chapter, I want to say it was The House of Ice, that I thought was a little bit too long-winded. I think that that chapter could have been pared down. I started to space out in that particular chapter, but other than that, I thought it was an enjoyable read. And also, if you don't give a crap about Batuman and her work, but you are fascinated by Russian literature and and the influences on Russian literature and why it is, in some cases, the way that it is, I think this is maybe a good springboard for you. If you just love Russian literature. That's it. 10-minute book review. I'm going to sign off. Are you a fan of Elif Batuman like me? I'm a stan, and I have no qualms about it. I'm not ashamed about it. Um, do you plan to read The Possessed? Do you plan to read The Idiot, or either? Or you're like, yeah, she's just not for me. I totally understand. So please feel free to like, subscribe, leave me a comment, and feel free to also follow me on Instagram. I like to get up over to, my English has been real dodgy in this particular session of recording videos, probably because I'm hungry. My last 3 videos, I was in a food coma. Right today, my stomach is gnawing at my backbone, and after this, I'm gonna go eat some tacos. Okay, but yeah, feel free to follow me on the interwebs, on Instagram in particular, because again, I share all of my book content up there. That is where I also do my monthly TBRs and recaps, and my book reviews go live there first, and then I will do a follow-up video on it. And I also like to post funny memes in my stories, because isn't that what the internet is for? Funny memes? That's what it's for me. I'm going to sign off, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.